Judaism is full of rituals of atonement that come alive during the high holiday season. The high holiday season is a fall period of holidays, of observances, of the Jewish New Year, and of rituals of atonement. The Jewish New Year marks a time that a person's fate is decided for the upcoming year. And so there is a period of about a month that a lot of actions are done in order to try to plead with God to bring in a good, healthy, prosperous year. Now, for me, as an ex-Hasidic woman, I observe the high holiday season rather lightly. I observe Yom Kippur, I fast, I go to the synagogue, but I don't do much besides that. But my body remembers the profound effect of the many intense rituals of atonement that I practiced when I was Hasidic, that are practiced in the Hasidic community. Judaism, is a religion of rituals. It is a religion of actions. I know that for a lot of people, some things that are practiced, they'll say to me, why is that done? It's archaic. But I do believe there is a tremendous psychological effect to these actions. They carry your body into a mindset, and the more intensely religious Jewish communities have so many of those actions to consistently carry the body into the frame of mind of reckoning, of self-reflection, of maybe guilt, of rethinking action, of pleading with God and hoping for a good outcome for the upcoming year. The high holiday season begins with the month of Elul, the Jewish month of Elul, with Sukkos, which are early morning prayers, and these prayers that involve mournful singing, just the acoustics in the synagogue are so powerful, and the blowing of a ram's horn called a shofar let out a series of melodic sounds that are supposed to stir you. And when you walk through the streets, you get a sense of people rushing, but also stopping to bless upon each other a good, sweet year. And this is something that I very much appreciate when I walk through the neighborhood. People stop me as well, and they will wish me a sweet year. This is in hopes that this action will be from humans' mouth to God's ears. The period really intensifies with Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. Rosh Hashanah here in Williamsburg is observed really intensely. You can see people walk through the streets with a kind of a seriousness. There isn't that easy chattiness in the streets. Everyone is rushing with prayer books. Married women are dressed in white scarves and white aprons, a sign of purity. And everyone spends a lot of the two-day holiday in the synagogue, with women upstairs in a closed-off balcony and men in the main synagogue sanctuary, and a lot of children playing outside of the synagogue. At sundown on Rosh Hashanah, there is a magnificent ritual called Tashlach, when masses of people go to the waterfront. Here it is, the Williamsburg, New York City waterfront at the Manhattan skyline, and ritualistically empty their pockets of sin into the water. So again, it's an action that you're not physically doing anything. And I know a lot of people have these comments about how it's in the past, it doesn't make sense. But I think the power of standing there after a day of exhausting prayer, crying in the synagogue, and feeling that fall crisp air and the sundown and the children delighted by the sights, it's a very powerful moment. After Rosh Hashanah comes what is probably the most unusual and striking ritual, and that's Kippuros. Kippuros is the ritual of taking a live chicken and swirling it over the head in order to transfer the sins of the person from themselves to the chicken. The idea is that this chicken is meant to be for a fate of death anyway, and so if, let's say, there was a person who for whatever reason, was about to be written into the book of death by God, you transfer that fate onto the chicken who was anyway going to die through this ritual, and then you say, "For me to leben, padite toit," for me to live, for you to death, and the funds made out of selling the chicken is donated to charity. I have to say, I know a lot of people are very, very bothered by this ritual, and I understand that. I kind of share that sentiment. I would say when I was Hasidic, it was a very carnivalesque ritual. Everyone was out in their finest, school was closed, and everyone was meeting each other with this strange chicken scene. But we didn't have pets. You might have noticed in, for instance, Hasidic Williamsburg, no one is walking dogs. People don't have pets. They don't have the kind of intimate relationships with animals that I think make you empathize very naturally with them. It's a really good example to me of how closeness creates empathy. Since then, pets are very central in my life, and so I have a very different feeling towards the ritual. And I know there are a lot of Orthodox Jewish people who similarly feel this way, because there's a movement of doing the chicken ritual with money instead of with a chicken. But still, in Hasidic Williamsburg, places that are like more traditional, this continues to be very much a huge sight after Rosh Hashanah in the streets. All of this works up to the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, Yom Kippur, 25 hours of fasting and spending almost all of that time in the synagogue except for sleeping, in prayer, in hitting your chest, in a ritual called Al-Chait, saying I sinned and asking God to forgive those sins. Men wear white jackets called a kittel. Everyone wears non-leather shoes, and of course no food or drink for the entire period. Yom Kippur ends at sundown with Nila, a very joyous prayer, with blowing of the ram's horn, with people going outside and performing one final ritual under the moon, and then going home, breaking the fast, and some delicious food, probably some pastries, and ushering in a new joyous period of saying, Oz gepoilt alles gets. May we have prayed for all good things. It's done. We are no longer crying. We are no longer performing all of these hard and heavy and intense rituals. Now comes the period of Sukkos, a joyous, very festive period of many, many rituals. And so ends the rituals of atonement. I wish you all a very sweet and joyous Jewish New Year.